cell phone. And the record will show that 4 of us are here in person. And Rob Mann is joining us by Zoom because he's feeling a little bit under the weather. And I guess Larry is feeling a little bit under the weather. He's not connected at all. He's not here. He's not on Zoom. So there's 5 of us here. We'll move on to approval of minutes. That would be the regular monthly meeting of March 23rd. Does somebody want to make a motion to? Okay, so Rob Burge has made the motion to accept the minutes, and Steve has seconded. Any discussion on these minutes?
I have 2 little items I'd like to mention. One on the minutes, I believe it talks about a addition or modification to sewage for the elderly. I think it was just a plain rate increase. And the other thing was on the public health. It talks about 1.75 was proposed. Actually, I think it's 3.5 that was proposed, and they're seeking to reduce it to a $1 raise. That's a per capita.
Okay. Was that the NDDH?
Yeah, the public nurse, public health. Whatever.
Good.
That was the end of the minutes.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. Any other changes to the minutes?
That's the only ones I noticed.
Any other changes? All right, all in favor of accepting the minutes as presented along with the changes, 2 changes that Steve just mentioned, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Anyone abstain? This one carries 5-0. Correspondence. I don't recall seeing anyone writing into the Contact Board of Finance portal since last week. There was someone who wrote in like in the afternoon last week, and we read that person into the record, but I don't recall seeing anything since then. Any other correspondence? Any correspondence at all that anybody's aware of? That we received midweek? Okay, so move on to citizens' comments. All right, so tonight is March 30th, and as you can see on the agenda, so anyone in the audience, there's documents over here on the table if you want to get any, if you want to go follow along with what we're talking about. I don't know if there's any copies of the agenda, but there are copies of like the operating proposed budget and mill rate impact and the survey. And so on the agenda, that's basically what I was saying, is we've got tonight, March 30th, and then we've got April 6th, and then we've got April 13th. So that's basically 3 scheduled meetings to get everything done. And my concern is that it's not a lot of time. So last week during citizens' comments, I let people go more than once. And what happened as a result of that is citizens' comments went on for 45 minutes or more. And of course, when that happens, we don't have a lot of time to do our work. So I really need to tighten this up. Unfortunately, it's just a practical matter because we only have tonight and 2 more meetings after this. So 3 minutes, just like we always do, but just one person per turn. So if you get up during citizens' comments and you share your comments, and then someone gets up after you and they say something that you disagree with or you don't like, I'm very sorry, but everybody gets one go, right? So please, when you get up to do your citizens' comments, make sure that you say that everything that's on your mind, go ahead and let us know. It's just one go per person. And I do have to be more mindful of the 3-minute timer. So when I do it, I will hold up 3 fingers for 3 minutes, 2 fingers for 2 minutes, 1 finger for 1 minute. And then at some point I'll say 30 seconds or something like that. And I don't mean to be distracting. It's just that, again, we just need to keep this tighter because we don't have a whole lot of time. So that was a lot of words, but is there any citizen here who has a comment? Go ahead, for the record, could you state your name and address, please?
Sir, Brian Santos, 77 Hackstrom Road. I'm coming before you tonight as a member of the Economic Development Commission. I think you're going over their budget tonight. I just wanted to state my support of the budget. I know in the past few years has been deeply evaluated and cut for various reasons, but the few of us here representing tonight from the EDC, we are a very spirited group. I think that the planner in our group have done a good job of organizing certain strategies for the future for marketing our town. Now that we have a great set of zoning regulations that are clear and marketable. And we're actively pursuing and completing various projects in town, such as the one out front that you saw. Led by our Selectman Amy and the planner Tira, doing the sidewalks over, doing the infrastructure. We're doing 65 Main, the old peak building over. Just supporting our general infrastructure. And I believe now that we have certain things lined up that we can market this town. There should be a marketing strategy. And I think the EDC is prepared to take on that task. Marketing such as like just putting out the good word about our trails, our various recreation, the projects that we're doing in town. Inspiring businesses to come look at our community. Now that we're doing the infrastructure and things are being supported, I think this would inspire people to come in, right? So I want to work with the Thompson Business Association. I want to work with the realtors in town to come up with, you know, a plan that says, here are the structures that are available to various businesses. This is what you can do with it. So I would just like to support the budget, if not increase it for that marketing strategy. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Any other citizen have a comment? Go ahead for the record. Can you state your name and address, please?
Yes, Suzanne Whitcow, 12 Clarence Drive. First, I want to say to this board, thank you all for serving. As someone who has sat on this board and listened to some of the derogatory comments that have been made, this is one of the hardest seats on any board or commission, is this Board of Finance. The budget process, as we all know, starts with department heads, and that's at the school as well. It starts with departments. It goes to Board of Education or to the Board of Selectmen for their approval, and then it comes to you, and all the weight comes on you because you're the final and last cuts and removals of money from this budget. I heard comments that people weren't qualified or that they were making budget cuts without reviewing the budget. Well, I happen to know that Steve has gone to every budget workshop that the Board of Finances, Board of Selectmen has had, and the Board of Education, and I know that Dave goes through this budget with a fine-tooth comb because I've watched him on this board for many years in the past. So I know that you all go through this budget, and I think that none of you are irresponsible. And I just wanted to point that out to everyone else that is here tonight. I would like to speak to the dog fund. That is near and dear to my heart. Dave, you had a question about how many times does she go out on calls per day? That's a good question, but it's not the whole picture. Because the whole picture is the time that some of these calls take. And it's not just one visit, it's ongoing, it's court. I look at this as another layer of security in this town. It's a layer of security for the animals, the pets, whether it's farm animals, dogs, cats, domestic, it doesn't matter. And I think that it's valuable, it's important, and I ask you to please don't compare it to NECOG because it's not anything that's compatible to NECOG. NECOG does not do half the job that we get for our money with this dog service. The other one I'd like to talk to, I'd like to say, I've always supported education. I support our Board of Education and the decisions they've made. I know it's a bare bones budget. I went to many of their workshops. Please think about it when you are looking and thinking about making cuts to that board, because I don't know that they can suffer any more cuts. My last and final is the resident trooper. When in the last year, in the last couple of years, one of the main things that people have come forward and said is we need a resident trooper. We need more security. We don't feel safe, whether it's the elderly or even the young, or even my age. I'm not elderly.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Please, this is an important layer of security that in today's time, we need this. So I beg you not to remove that from our budget. Thank you very much.
Any other citizen have a comment? No citizen have a comment. Go ahead.
No, you
Oh,
go.
go ahead.
Okay.
For the record, could you please state your name and address?
Heather Santos, 77 Hackstrom Road. I just wanted to take a moment to circle back on a citizen's comment that was made last week. That stated that the education budget has not been cut in years past, but their requests have been cut. I'm here to tell you that when the education budget put forth represents the exact needs of the school in order to maintain the same level of quality of education offered the year before, and it largely represents fixed costs such as fuel, electricity, oil, federally mandated services in the millions for special education, and contractual obligations such as health insurance, union contracts, and transportation contracts, all of which that have increased year after year. When the town denies full funding to the school, what do you think happens? They can't decide to pay the electric company less or health insurance less because their budget was reduced. Programs, classes, teachers, and supports are cut from the general education budget. You can't spin that fact or twist that truth. That is the reality. I also wanted to know, Sally made a point to mention that Dave Johnson graduated from Turtle Lot and worked in the school district. And though I think that is fantastic, he was actually one of my principals. What I don't think is that it inherently means that he will do what is in the best interest of the school today. I hope he does, but we all know that people's interests and personal motivations change over time. If you ask me what my motivations were 20 years ago, it likely wouldn't include being in a Board of Finance meeting advocating for the town and our children, but here I am. Lastly, I just want to say that whenever the needs of the school and the town equate to tax increases, all I keep hearing is the same. What about our senior population on fixed incomes? Well, what about the kids that deserve a quality education? And what about all the folks that have invested their money in this town in the form of property that don't want to see our town deteriorate? I think all the seniors that feel that way need to remember that when they were in school, when they were school aged, guess who helped pay for the school in their town? The answer is every single property owner, regardless of age or income. So what makes it so different now? Does the scenario no longer fit your needs because you're not a direct benefactor? Being a part of a community in America means you pay your taxes, and those taxes are used to benefit all the members in the community in which you live, even the youngest ones that don't have a vote in this town but have the most to lose. Quality education is an obligation as a town. It is not a wish list item. That aside, for those that are 65 and on a limited fixed income, I do feel for you. And in the
30
selectmen update that was issued this week, which has some fantastic information in it, by the way, it was very thorough. You may find some interest in the assessor's office page, which indicates that there is a homeowner tax credit for low-income seniors who qualify. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. For the record, could you please state your name and address?
Short and sweet tonight, Kathleen Herbert, 122 Wilsonville Road. A statement was made last week concerning the grand list and how it has increased. And that statement is correct. The grand list increased from October 2021, 756 million, from October 1st, 2022 to 769.5 million. Which is a grand total of $13 million or 1.7%. Which, if you took it by our current mill rate, would give us a total of increased tax revenues of $330,000, which is diddly squat, to use the vernacular. And even as Mr. Johnson proposed, we raised the mill rate by 1 mil, would give us $462,000 in increased tax revenues, which is, again, wouldn't even touch our proposed needed expenditures, wouldn't even touch our increase in insurance costs. So that statement is wrong. We need to increase our grand list by a lot more than what it has increased over the prior years. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you have someone on the
Oh, someone on Zoom?
Yes, there is.
Oh,
I was just
terrific.
waiting for you to finish
Yep.
with the. So we have Ms. Brittany Charbonneau.
Great. Could you, for the record, could you just state your name and address, please?
Hi, my name is Brittany Charbonneau. I'm at 56 Juliet Avenue. Thank you for all of you guys who are working to figure this out. I just really want to just vouch for, or just point out the survey and the fact that 61.68% of the folks that had answered did approve or did have opinions towards raising the education. The education is what brings people to our schools. It's what it brings value to our students in the future of our town. Heather kind of made mention that someone may have said, what about the seniors? I don't mean for this to sound callous, but the future, we have to invest in the future. The kids are what the future are, and they're going to be here longer. And we want to attract more families to Thompson because they will bring more money into Thompson. And that's a huge part of it. So I really, really hope that we can continue to hear the voices of the town who really are interested in having a quality education for our children and ensuring that we are doing whatever we can to make sure that they have what they can. Watching the cuts over the last few years has been so heartbreaking, and it's starting to push people out. So we just really need to continue to make that momentum happen. I also just want to say that I also am in huge support of the state trooper, the resident state trooper. It's not going to solve all of our problems. Of course, we all know that. But the response time for Troop D to get to Thompson, I mean, I've called Troop D within the last 2 weeks and it took over 45 minutes. And, the school aside, but, just personally, I mean, that state trooper is not going to be on call all the time, but having someone that's here that is familiar with the town, we do have cops in town anyway, but I really strongly encourage that for everyone's safety, old, young, everybody in between. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, there was also someone that typed into the comment section and they asked me to read it. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
So we have a statement from Brandy Renault, 14 Liberty Lane. She said, we need a resident trooper in Thompson. We need to protect our children and our schools. Please, I urge you all to pass this through for the sake of our children and faculty. And then she went on to say, we all say how we want to do something to protect our kids every time there is a mass shooting, but nothing is ever done. Thoughts and prayers aren't going to work. We need to actually implement better safety measures to protect our students and staff. A resident trooper will allow an armed officer to be quickly available in the case of an emergency. And then she asked me to please add that to her above statement. And then Elizabeth A. Messier, 13 Valley View Drive, seconded Ms. Renault's comments.
Anyone else here in the room?
Just real quick.
Go ahead. Could you just state your name and address, please?
Daniel Bennett, 115 Labby Road. I'm the president of the Thompson Business Association, also on Economic Development Committee. So I'm here in support of the EDC budget, and I second what Brian said earlier.
Thank you. Any other citizen have a comment? Any other citizen have a comment? Citizens comment. Citizens comment. Go ahead. For the record, could you please state your name and address?
Sally White, 308 East Thompson Road. Last week, there was an overview about the resident state trooper on 2 types that would be available, either the 5 days on and 3 days off, or what you termed an administrative position. Perhaps you forgot, but it's my understanding that every 2 weeks, they actually get 1 day off a week. So it's not a straight 5 days during the week. If you chose, if you were to go that route, the administration person would be off 1 day during the week, of course. They're only on 8 hours a day when they are on duty. And driving over here, it really hit me about the variety of people in town and their interests. And this is, you're considering a radically large increase that is going to stun some people. Again, coming over here, I thought there's people sitting there at home tonight, they have no idea what you're considering. And when they see that, some people are going to be afraid. Some people are going to feel betrayed. And I think it is unreasonable to seek an increase of this amount. I think it is disrespectful. I think that you're looking at, again, money to solve things. And I think it goes much deeper than putting money towards some of the concerns. I think there could be better management applied. And when it's mentioned that people have gone through the school and it's time to think of the younger people, but you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. And most of the taxpayers in town are older or do not have children, but it doesn't mean for a second that they don't consider education to be very, very important. We want the best for the youngsters of their families and their neighbors. So for anyone to suggest that you don't care about education is really nothing short of being disrespectful and seems to be a form of bullying. So people that aren't for this level of increase
30 seconds.
have spent a lot of time themselves being educated and have a great deal of respect for it. So please return that respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens? For the record, could you please state your name and address?
Sure, Nicola Krzyzanowski, 49 Mountain Hill Road. I just want to start by saying thank you to all of you guys, right, for volunteering to do this. But understanding each section of the budget is coming from an area that is looking for what they need. And in aggregate, with it being as large as it is, at some point, we have to be able to do it. It doesn't matter if it's just for the children or for the business development. Every other board has put a lot of time and energy into it just the same to give you the best budget they possibly could. They've already tried to take out as much as they can. They've tried to look at it. Every one of them is also a volunteer, just like you guys. And I think not giving the respect to those boards to accept what they are and let the people of the town make the decision is unfair. If people don't come out to vote, that should be on those individuals. If they want to be educated on what's going on in our town, every board has made such an effort during this time period to open their doors, to open their Zooms. That should be left to the individuals to get out of their houses and make their voices heard, just like everyone else is making it heard on their piece of paper and on their table. So I just ask that you consider all the work that everybody did to bring the budget to the Board of Finance for their hours, for their volunteer time, and for all of you sitting here and listening to people maybe not speaking as politely as they could or as nice as they could, but it's because everyone's passionate about Thompson and wants to see us grow. We're not the only town. I drive to East Hartford every day. I passed 7 signs today about $60 million increases, $42 million increases. We're not the only town. We have just all been neglecting wanting to see increases for so long that we've got to rip off the Band-Aid at some point. And if it's not this year, it's going to be next year or the year after. But the question at that point is who's left to vote? Because there may not be anyone. So I appreciate what you do. I thank you for what you do. And I just hope that you hear the voices of all the rest of the volunteers.
Thank you. Any other citizen have a comment? Any other citizen have a comment? I don't know. Got somebody on the Zoom?
We do, Ms. Valerie Clark.
Valerie, could you do us a favor and just state your name and address, please?
Valerie Clark, 105 Ulm Road. And I want to first say that I appreciate the scrutiny and the opportunity that the Board of Finance has had to scrutinize this budget. There have been items that have been found where there was a cost savings, and I very much appreciate that. I think that what everyone would want is to have money allocated that is well spent, not just an increase. And I appreciate that level of review. And I apologize because I was not at most of last week's meeting, but regarding the quote unquote level funding of the fire departments, I don't know if this has been raised already, but I think that there's really, if you're going to level fund the fire department, you need to raise all the budgets for the fire departments to the level of the maximum request. Otherwise, the only other responsible decision is to fund each department as they requested, not to level fund by lowering to an average number. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, there's also a couple more in the chat, if you,
Sure.
if it would be okay.
Go ahead.
I have one from Devin Bruner, 92 Mountain Hill Road. I also agree with Brandy and Elizabeth's statements regarding the resident trooper in town to be available for the safety of our town and students at the school. Preparing to send my daughter to kindergarten in the fall worries me, and I'm sure all other parents are worried too, who have children attending the school now. And then one more from Mike Perry, 137 Church Street. Said not having an armed trooper in town is a severe negligence by anyone in the community that has the choice to, to simply make the right decision regardless of the cost. And that's all I have.
Looks like we have someone just raised their hand.
Amber.
Amber, can you do us a favor and state your name and address, please?
Sure. Amber Comtoy, Sunset Hill Road, Thompson. I just want to remind all of you of the survey results, the voices you've heard in previous meetings, and the sad world that we currently live in already, along with the tragic events that seem to keep appearing in the news and these children keep hearing about. Our students and staff live in enough stress and fear just to show up at school. Think about any other job that any of you may have. You're supplied with the materials, resources, and supplies you need to be successful, because every company wants their employees to be a great representation of their company. Our employees are currently our staff, our students, and any future employees and staff we may have. We possibly even have remarkable, amazing humans that will be caring for us in the future. We need to take care of them now so they can take care of us then. Just think about the world today as a whole, not just our town, and the needs that are greater than ours, but our voices, choices, and votes. The decisions we make can make a huge impact on what we face down the road. I think of when not passing this budget, as silly as it sounds, being one who shops at the Dollar Tree, knowing the item won't last, break, and you'd be back where you are when you started. I want to say we have amazing staff and students at Thompson Public Schools.
Thank you. Any other citizen have a comment here in the room?
Yeah.
Go ahead and for the record, can you see your name and address?
Peter Beck, 685 Avian Road. All these people saying that our schools aren't safe, I would like to take issue with that. I don't think that anybody is getting into our schools that isn't welcomed in there. Most school shootings take place outside. So if you're going to be taking our money to fortify the schools, I think you guys should be putting it toward growing trees to provide cover for all these outside shootings. That's about it. Off the cuff there.
Thank you. Any other citizen have a comment? Citizen comment. No citizen. Go ahead for the record. Could you please state your name and address?
Matt Polsky, 92 Sunset Hill Road. I'm a fan of Dr. Seuss. I've been since I was a child. I've learned many things from a good doctor. Some parts of our situation remind me of the Lorax. You see, gentlemen, the Lorax cautioned people around him of the destruction that they were causing to the community by the active rape of the environment around them. His most notable quote, "I am the Lorax and I speak for the trees." You see, the trees have no voice of their own. Well, I'm a parent and I speak for the children. While this board has not actively despoiled this town, the constant cutting of budget proposals, the forced static mill rate has done much in the passive way to despoil this town, as the one-source industries once did to his surrounding environment. Our children are not trees. They do have a voice, even if they cannot vote. Our children want to go to school where they're safe, where they can learn, where they can participate in activities that will make them well-rounded students and citizens. I'm a parent and I speak for the children. Please make a stand to stop the passive destruction, stop the decay of our town and our youth. Let the people decide. And also, just a follow-up on Ms. White's comment, it is a big increase between the school budget and the municipal budget and the capital budget. It's a big increase, but it's because we haven't been allowed small increases, and it's an aggregate increase over the past decade or more. And it's the end result of this negligence. I'm begging you, please just let the people have a vote on what's been proposed. And thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. I'm a volunteer on a board. You guys are volunteers on boards, and I know the time involved, and I know you guys are looking at this, and thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Citizens. Any other citizens' comments? We got somebody on Zoom.
Yeah, we have another chat, but I don't know the address.
Could we ask the person who
Yep.
just entered comments into the chat to please enter their address? Do we know what their name is?
Francesca Benoit,
Francesca, if you could please enter your street address. Thank you so
16
much.
Liberty Lane, Thompson, and
Thank
she
you.
states, as a mother in Thompson with 2 children in the school system and 3 younger children to follow, I strongly agree Thompson needs a resident trooper. No cost is too high to offer parents a heightened sense of security when sending their babies to school, and just in general, as residents of Thompson. I think people choose to believe it could never happen to them, but I wouldn't have ever guessed my kindergartner and 3rd grader might come home having been exposed to a hysterical woman making her way onto their bus, yet it did. The school handled that specific incident wonderfully. We love our bus driver and school staff, but it serves as a reminder that our area is not safe, in quotes, from any kind of violence or harassment. And I apologize, but trees just aren't enough protection for my liking. Nashville police stopped a horrific tragedy from producing further casualties by responding with prompt timing. That should be considered. Thank you. And then it looks like there might be another message. So Jackie, 11 Quadic Road, Jackie Heffernan. Years ago, a past governor got rid of the minimum staffing requirement for the state of Connecticut for state police. At this time, Troop D is grossly understaffed. Thompson should invest in its citizens and support having a resident trooper. Thank you to all the boards for your time and investment in pouring over these budgets. The citizens will decide on how we move forward, voting or staying at home. Our town deserves to be invested in.
Okay, any other citizens' comments during the room? Citizens' comments. Citizens' comments, any other citizens' comments? In the room? Any other citizens' comments on the Zoom? Okay, going once, going twice, anyone else, anyone else? Anyone else on the Zoom, anyone else?
Mike Perry already said,
Okay. Yeah, fair enough,
we want to be fair.
that's right, we gotta be fair to everyone.
Right.
All right, so we will move on to budget workshop, and I believe we finished off at the top of, was it page 8?
We are at line 483, Aaron,
43.
library.
Yeah, so that's, yeah, okay, so in our booklet, that's the top of page 8. And for everyone joining us this evening, we're at the top of page 8 in those handouts. What's up?
I think we've got a new addition, Aaron.
I've got a new addition.
Is that-
Oh, page 8, but it's halfway down.
That's over there.
Okay. All right. Mine looks good. Yeah. We have a new addition.
But also,
So what page are we on now?
Still page 8.
Yep, page 8.
Oh, we're still on page 8? All
Halfway down.
right, we're halfway down page 8. But should
Still the
I be
same line.
going off this new one? Is
Yes.
this the new one?
Yes.
I should,
It's not significantly different, but there's.
But it's different?
That I've
Okay.
only mentioned.
yeah, it's the same. Well, then I'd say, go ahead. What's the change?
So we got a call from the Department of Public Works. They actually proposed a reduction of $4,726 to line 349 in their budget, which is the MS4 vendor. They've actually contracted with a new vendor at a lower cost and wanted to build that change into the budget.
Is that contractor for MS4?
Correct, line 349.
Okay.
That change, forgive the assumption, but I didn't think you guys would object, so I put it in the sheet. I could remove it.
You, right, you wouldn't object, although, how much was that?
$4,726.
$4,726 is
Correct.
the motion that I will make to reduce from line 349 contractor for MS4.
I will second that.
So I've made the motion and Rob Words was the second. Any discussion on this motion?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Appreciate the proactiveness.
Yeah.
It's a moving, a live document. Things go up, things go down. We've seen this in years past. So thank you to the Public Works Director for finding that savings.
And so that's the line that has the note on the far right that says stormwater runoff work, JD Civil Engineering.
I'm sorry, Aaron.
No, I'm just, that 349, that's the one that on the other, on the
Yes.
far right says stormwater runoff work, JD Civil Engineering.
Correct.
And even with the, what do we do? It was 4,000 something, even with that reduction, we're still looking at that $17,000 increase, right?
Right.
Okay. But yeah, there it is, 4,726, that's the amount. Any other discussion on this motion? I'm not sure why that person's hand was up.
I think she just missed getting.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
She got cut off, I think, or it sounded like.
She might have missed citizens' comment.
No, she spoke.
It was in the chat.
Oh, okay. Maybe what we can do is we can add it to the record. Kind of like when we get when somebody sends something to the Board of Finance in between meetings, we can
Yes.
we can forward that to Dottie and have her put it in the record.
Okay.
All right, so any other discussion on this motion related to line item 349? Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll go around the table. Dave, how do you vote?
Yes.
Rob Mann, how do you vote?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
I'll vote yes, this one carries 5-0. So does that bring us back to the middle of page 8? Is that what we do now?
Yes.
So was there a change to the layout? Because on this other one, we're at the top of page 8. Was this one? It's in the middle of page 8. So I just wonder if there's anything material that happened. Or is it just-
No,
Okay.
as long as we go by line number, we'll
Okay.
all be in sync.
Okay, great.
And if I could, Aaron, a couple of
Go ahead.
questions from the last meeting.
Go ahead.
I believe Rob Wurge had a question regarding the door repair and replacement at the DPW. We've since learned that work is all repair work, so it's properly classified right now. We're still waiting on an answer on the guardrails, but we expect a portion of the guardrail replacement budget of $25,000 to be reclassed down to capital. It looks like it's gonna be $10,000, but I'm not quite there with that answer yet. The other question that I felt you guys should have your answer to before the meeting regarding building fees in the building office. If you recall, that had gone from 100,000 to 150,000. I confirmed that amount with both the tax collector and the building office today. So they are comfortable with that, primarily based on where we are actually for this year, which is trending well above the $100,000 that we budgeted.
And is that already in the revenue side?
Yes,
Okay,
that
great.
that is in the revenue side. Yes,
It's already there. Thanks.
that was it.
Okay, thank you. So then we can go back to. Was it 483, line 483? On page 8. Civic and Cultural, Library Administration. That's where we are, right? Questions here? Anything? Look with me.
Just one question around the increases, it's 4.9
4.9.
versus 3% on the others,
That must be library clerks 4.9,
488, up line 48.
488.
Just curious on the background on why that's
Allison is
library?
here.
Sure, I'd be
Direct-
glad to
I'm
see
sorry,
about that.
turn it
This
on
is
there.
year 3 of a 3-year plan to address that class of employee in line with the new state minimum wage schedule. So that's why that class of employee is at a higher rate. We're finishing bringing them up to par to be compatible with the new minimum wage.
Does that take us to the September of increase that's coming
Yes,
this year?
yes,
Okay, so it's in advance of that, and I think that's the last.
it
last-
is, yes, yes. that's right.
Okay, so I think I asked the same question last year.
Yeah, because last year was year two, and now
But it
we're
was-
in year
it
three.
was a year ago.
We wanted to
That's
take a
right.
big hit.
I just wanted to make sure.
So we wanted to slow pace it in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? So Allison, as long as we're on the library administration budget, if you can just speak to $3,000 increase for books and periodicals.
Sure, those lines, the small increases that the board did put forward. The library board of trustees to the board of selectmen, and we appreciate their support of that. Is just rising costs. I'm sick of the praise. I'm tired of inflation, and yet the reality is. That's what it is. We are fortunate to participate in significant discounts through some of our memberships, and yet. The high price of the top price for a bestseller book used to be $25. And then we would get a discount. The high price of a bestseller hardcover now is $32. Okay. So some of these things we just can't fight while we're buying less content. There is still content being purchased for a wide variety of users. We buy for the little guys. And then those in their later years with the large print format, which unfortunately is even more expensive than the $32 hardcover. Those are pretty much trending $40 a copy at this point, and we want to ensure that we have some content for those folks. So it's not just buying what's on the bestseller list or what's trendy and Lisa's book club and so forth. It's buying a quality collection for readers of all ages.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Questions?
Comment, I think it's well done, given the vast majority of the budget is people driven.
Yeah.
It's 40% overall,
Just a-
most of that driven by people.
Parents?
Nice job.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Oh, you're on it. Did you turn the page yet?
I did not.
Okay.
Did you have any?
Not on your page.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So then we flip to page 9, we go up to library, Louis B. Pocher Community Center, line number 511. Any questions here?
Comment on line 514.
Go ahead.
We're looking at previous budget, and I just don't understand the increase. Did we do without an evening custodian? Or-
Yes.
Yep.
For some
Allison.
time.
Yep.
For some time. So I'm pleased to report that we now have both of those positions filled as of this week. So we are anxious to get back to some more normal coverage at the facility. So that's why that line represents what it does.
Is that 19 hours or less?
It is 19 hours. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Building repair and maintenance up 5,000. Is there any story behind that?
An aging facility and a request to restore this budget to the original building repair amount of 25,000 when it was initiated back in 2000. Back in, I don't know, 2017, it was reduced back to $20,000, I believe. And we were in good shape. Things were holding up, and yet now the facility is close to entering year 30, and some things need to be taken care of. Prices have gone up, vendor charges have gone up, understandably so. They have costs to cover as well, and we respect that, and we try to use as many local vendors. We're fortunate to have connected with a number of them that are very responsive to our upcoming emergencies. I had to deal with the plumber and the
Connecticut water inspector today, and so that got sorted out, and yet a bill will follow. And so it's in line with taking care of things. Bill can tell you, I had a call with him last week that I was like, it's March and I am, either I give up landscaping for this season, or I'm, this budget is pretty much tapped out for the year. We have building maintenance weekend coming up, and we try to take care of some projects that are best handled when the building isn't occupied, and yet I have a very small purse to do any proactive or even things that should be handled, any type of work like that this year. Things have happened that needed to be handled, and the pot is gone at this point for the year.
Go
ahead.
I see that, according to this, anyway, we're gonna spend over $52,000 for electricity in the current year, but we're gonna spend $15,000 less next year. Does that make sense?
I don't know where the 52,000 is. That might have been Bill's math.
Was my projection.
Okay.
Prior to, so one thing that's driving, Steve, is that we have contracted now with a new provider that is, as many of you have probably done the same thing residentially, to drive down that's the distribution side, if I remember, our delivery.
Delivery supply, yeah.
So that's going counter to what people would normally expect because of that move. In addition, the plan currently is that the town and the school would join ranks on a new electricity contract in December. The contract that we just entered into on the town side carries us to that very day. And we coordinated with Bill Birch up at the school to make sure that we were in a position to line up and hopefully get a better price for both sides in December. So hopefully that'll go down. Electricity rates have, believe it or not, have calmed down a little bit, as well as fuel. They're still not back to previous levels, but they have calmed down a little bit.
Good.
Hearing that, Bill, is that reflected throughout the other departments? I haven't gone back page by page yet, but I recall.
Yes,
more
yeah, I
increases.
believe there were a handful of increases, but I believe in most of the departments we caught it, but that's something I can go back. and check
Spotted
again.
and pulled it down.
Yes, yep,
May want to revisit.
yeah, I will.
Thank you.
The same thing on the fuel, again, a substantial decrease, 18% drop. This contract that,
That's
Same-
another
same
instance
story.
where we were about halfway through this year. We actually locked in our pricing for next year.
okay, thank you.
So good point, meaning you've locked in what, more favorably for next year?
Yes,
And,
on fuel.
and that's across the
Yes.
the town and the school and.
Yep. It's a little bit different with fuel in that the budget impact is on one line in particular for everything. Although, I'm sorry, library has a separate fuel line. That's right.
I see, so. Because obviously we're looking at this one, we're not looking at elsewhere in the
Right.
budget at fuel, so. Fuel lives somewhere else for all across, except for the library, across like the garage and the town hall.
Right.
And somewhere, wherever it is, it's reflected downward, just like this one has.
Yes, generally, and I can check that too, but yes.
Okay, anything else? Under,
The overall increase is only 1.2%. It's very reasonable, but obviously driven by the big decreases in energy costs.
anything else for the library, Lewis P. Kosher Community Center building, anything else? If not, we'll move on to celebrations. Any questions here? Anything? If not, we'll move on to Historical Society. Any questions on this one? Going up $1,000. Not sure. Is there-
Mr. Rice was in I think that was reflective of
John Rice?
potential heating costs. Yeah, John Rice is the one that presents that,
Okay,
but I believe he's in the audience. the virtual audience.
If I've ever seen this.
Is John in there? And if not, then we can always, there he is. He might not, might not be by his computer. I know how it is once you get these Zooms going on in the house. You
But I
may- you
think
may or may
as
not
we
be
were
working here.
all, oh, he's unmuting.
John?
Yeah, yes.
We were,
Sorry, I had a bad cold this week and I didn't want to pass it on.
thank you for that. We were just wondering about Historical Society, and there's this line item called Thompson Historical Society Grant. It went from $5,000 to $6,000, and Amy figured that it may have to do with what heating?
I was gonna say heating, fuel, electricity, just like we're all facing with. Is that what we had talked about, Mr. Rice?
Yes, I had turned in, Amy, that the expenses for the Historical Society, I don't know if you have that on there or not, but I don't have it with me. But yeah. That's basically it, is that the heating and electricity was the big expenses. Do you have that, Amy, by any chance?
I do, sir. It's, you had oil at $2,424 for 2022. And Eversource, $1,919.85. The total expenses for the Historical Society was $18,901.15.
Thank you. Anything else while we're on Historical Society? If not, thank you, John. If not, we move on to Recreation Commission. Questions here? Don, we hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
Questions here?
I might make a comment.
Go ahead.
I may be wrong, but isn't the recreation director a salaried person and we don't really pay them by the hour?
I think that's just an.
I think we might, I think that's
description?
I think that's an old time
I think it's an old
label. I think it
description.
should be just, it's not
Oh, I
37.5 hours kind of thing.
Move to, I see, so this recreation payroll part-time line 538 is because the assistant recreation director moved up to full-time.
Correct.
Right.
I'm not sure. I think you changed that already in yours, didn't you? Just not carried over.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
I might.
Go ahead.
Is there something driving that, given that I assume we haven't had a full-time one in the past? Are they doing something different? Is there, what's the driving force behind the change, I guess is?
Well, Brian can certainly speak to it. He is here, but I will say that she is doing a lot more with our senior citizens and senior programming, but that's my look, you know.
I'm not saying it's not just, I just want to understand.
Yeah, so this moves to 28 hours a week, considered full time, so it's up 10 hours a week, was originally 18 hours a week, so. And in that position, she's unique, she supports the department administratively, about half that time, and she also spends time supervising the after school program, purely rec at school, as well as summer camp, and then overseeing all the senior programming. And then really focusing on adding additional senior programs.
Are those changes from the prior year or are those the job description now?
Yeah, the change in the job description. So that's moving from full-time administrative to overseeing certain programs in the department.
Anything else?
Just request that, Bill, please change the title.
Yes, got it.
Recreation.
So, yeah. That's a mention.
Right, so it doesn't say part-time anymore.
Well, so it doesn't say payroll, I think.
Yeah, right.
Part-time either.
All right, anything else under Recreation Commission? Anything else? Move on to Development and Planning. Questions here? I see. All right, if there's no questions here, then we'll move on to community development. Any questions here? Looks like there's no money here. Okay, so move on to planning and zoning commission. Questions here?
I'm here.
Fabulous, good man. Questions under planning and zoning commission?
What was the old hours is 25 is in the new budget? What's the current hours per week? This says they're going up to 25, so
Yeah, Cindy's currently at 20.
thank you.
And there's a little more justification, so. I did speak with HR and the increase does not reflect, it wouldn't be anything to do with bargaining for the union. Does not affect any of her benefits. So it's really just salary, she stays under the cap.
Oh, so under the cap of not full-time?
That's right.
Got it.
Yes. Cindy has approved this.
Anything? Anything else I was gonna ask about? Just the story behind professional services and advertising.
Yeah, so professional services around 1,700, so that's legal services and outside counseling, consulting services. So we had Janet do some work for us this year, as you know, we're redoing the regulations for subdivisions and any of the help that we require. You know, we went over budget a little bit in that this year, so just go through that.
I see. And then
Advertising, so it's an anticipated volume increase. Fortunately, the fees will be passed on to the applicants based on the new regs. So, although it's a budget line item, we anticipate recovering that.
got it. So meaning we're going up $1,000 in advertising, but on the revenue side somewhere, there's an increase. Okay, good.
It seems to make sense given last year's meeting 2022, so if we over 2,000.
I can give you some more details on P and Z, you know, for her too, if you'd like the officer. Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
You all set? For anything, Dave?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, we'll move on to Zeo and wetland.
Nothing.
Nothing here. Zoning Board of Appeals. Anything? Any questions? Inland Wetlands Commission. Any questions here? Conservation Commission. Economic Development. I think, did we hear something about the branding initiative during citizens' comments? Was that, we heard something about economic development, marketing? Maybe
it's related.
Maybe, is there someone who can tell us about the story behind branding initiative at $7,500?
Here is on, our Director of Planning and Development is in the Zoom audience.
Great. Hi, Tara.
Good evening, gentlemen. Bill, would you mind scrolling so I can see a little more of the sheet? So I can see where you guys are. Thank you. So the branding initiatives has been kind of the catch-all line that has been used for the various projects that EDC has taken on. So In this case, the request is for $10,000 to undertake a comprehensive marketing strategy or campaign. We've been calling it Marketing Main Street. I would actually say it's more of a marketing of the entire downtown revitalization. The commission has decided that this is really an ideal time, sort of kicked off by some of the infrastructure work that's already done. The town is also currently in the design phase for the reconstruction of the road surface and sidewalk for Main Street. You've heard multiple times the 65 Main project referenced, which is its end goal is as a small business incubator of a kind. And there have been recent moderate, although large for Thompson, permits approved for both housing and business development. And of course, we've got the River Mill coming up. So with all of that in mind, to really sort of more aggressively do the things that members of this board and members of the community have been asking them to do, which is to attract outside investment, that's the step that they'd want to take. So that's 10,000 of that. 2,500, which you can also see broken out. That's not that shouldn't be cumulative. Is for a piece of equipment for up at the interpretive park that's being developed at the site of the Great East Thompson train wreck. That was previously encumbered this year. It's for a fixed bike repair station. But the Board of Selectmen had asked several of the boards and commissions to release existing encumbrances, which the commission was happy to do to, you know, go along to get along, but they still want to do that piece. And then the additional 2,500 in there to bring you to the 15,000 is as a backstop for some matching grants. The one that I particularly have in mind would be related to the Agriculture Commission. Last night they had a meeting and they've decided for this fiscal year, they're not ready to move ahead with it. There is a grant program for essentially marketing and enhancing agricultural businesses that I've encouraged them to apply for. The Agriculture Commission has no fund of their own, and EDC has agreed, at least in principle, to serve as their source of matching funds for that. I think that is that, but happy to take any more questions.
I have a question, Tara. That same line, 675, was $13,000 in 2022, down to 7,500 in 2023. Am I correct in recalling that you had actually looked for 15 last year and it got cut in half, and 15 this year is kind of moving you back to where you wanted to be?
That is correct. And to say back to where we wanted to be is,
well,
generous. I mean, when I started in 2019, the annual budget in the branding initiatives line was 25,000. So the commission has been very accommodating to the board as they have asked them to trim away some of the things they've liked to do. They've done that. But I mean, we certainly can't go below 7,500. We have one project that is going to eat up all of that, which we've started to spend the funds on, and that leaves no money for those things, the marketing campaigns, the matching small grants, anything like that. And a lot of those things do come along sort of catch as catch can. So we have to be able to capitalize them, sometimes not really knowing what they're going to be from year to year.
Thank you. And just to ground us, just total of grants, I've heard a lot of different grants, but roughly kind of order of magnitude total of grants that you've applied for and received in this fiscal year?
In this fiscal year, I don't have it broken out by fiscal year. I can tell you cumulatively, since I started in April of 2019, so it's coming up on almost exactly 4 years, it's been in the neighborhood of $4.5 million. 2 of those are large grants. I mean, so taking up the bulk of that, one of which is nearly complete, which is the sidewalk. The other one, the contract hasn't been fully executed by the state, but you know, they keep telling me soon. That's the $2 million grant, brownfield cleanup for River Mill. But a pair of federal grants related to that 65 Main project, which are very germane to the economic development aspect, the renovation, and then the development of the programming. I am looking at leveraging those grants into another large grant fund through the state called the Community Investment Fund. And I'd actually like to thank Dottie for calling my attention to that. I had previously thought we did not qualify for that grant, but we are an eligible municipality. And that would be to, if all goes well, actually fund the construction of the road resurface and sidewalk, some additional reno work at 65, some additional what they call placemaking efforts throughout that downtown core, and possibly even expand that marketing program. But that that grant, round 3 of that grant is opening on May 1st. So you know, I'm projecting out a few weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I just would mention that the line 681, I don't think the percentages are calculated correctly.
Oh, that 81, that 88% is comparing the 2024 budget versus the 2023 projection.
Yeah, I understand, but it's not up 88%. Is it?
So you're comparing the $14,000 increase to the $16,000
sorry.
budget, which is 88%.
I see. Tara, did you speak to printing and publication?
I don't think I did. So there are 3 things that you would be looking at, and that's a ballpark figure. The Z maps, which were very popular, we know that those run about $3,000 to reprint. This year, we had put that full amount aside in EDC, but the Eastern Regional Tourism District, of which I am a member representing Thompson, agreed to match quite a bit of it. So we were only on the hook for 1,000, which was a nice little savings for us. The other pieces there would be if there's any print collateral for that marketing campaign. And then the third piece again was that same potential grant program that I talked about, that the EDC has agreed in principle to fund matching dollars if the Agriculture Commission chooses to pursue it next year.
Anything else? Anything else? Thank you, Tara. So we move on to building committee.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tara. Special meetings, 1,200. Do we expect that many more special meetings?
John Rice isn't, but I can speak for this too. They have multiple projects going on.
Okay.
But John, if you want to say something.
No, that's basically what it is that, as you know, hopefully we'll get the grant for the HVAC system. We have a security grant, monies that is available. We're working on a salt shed and even EMS building. So when you start meeting with these contractors or these bidders, that's where that extra meetings comes into.
Good. Questions? Thanks, John. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we move on to fringe benefits. Which looks notable, to say the least. Bill, you did tell us some time ago about the increased municipal retirement contribution.
Yes,
MERS.
correct.
But of course,
That is line 697.
Yeah.
That is a firm number. One line prior, if I may,
Yeah.
696, health and life insurance. I think we had spoken previously. Both the school and the town, they're early in the budget process, decided to go with a 12% increase because of what happened last year when we originally budgeted an 8 and they came back with a 10. The early returns are that things aren't completely final yet, but it looks like we're going to be below the 12, but I will go back on my soapbox and mention to the board that we changed how we budgeted this line. And we looked at individual participants, so any cushion that had previously been in this line is out, so I would be conservative when reducing that 12%. But it looks like it's coming in, it looks like it's coming in lower, so I'll have a better
should we
answer.
wait a
for that.
couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think so.
I had a comment.
Go ahead, Rob.
Only because Bill and I shared some Q and A on this, 2%. It went up from 17.5 to 19.4.
Correct.
So it's actually much more than a 2% increase. It's 2 percentage points on a scale.
Right.
So just as people think about that and as the board thinks about that and looks at it, it's not 2% of the cost.
No, it's 2% of the base salary.
Over 2 over 17, which is a lot more than 2%.
Yes.
I wish it were 2% of the cost.
That's correct.
Oh, I see. You're talking about the next line down.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, the MERS. Yeah, I got it. Gotcha.
697.
On 698.
Yeah.
I would sort of expect that to go up at the same rate of salary increases, salary changes.
Yeah, I can see. I'll look.
So I would
into
expect
why
that to be more like
why
3%.
that's
I mean, there
a
might be some
different.
little, when you're adding a few more people, a few more hours might go up a little bit more, but in general, it shouldn't
We
change much more
definitely
than
do have
3%.
a higher number of employees than last budget.
This is like a 10% increase in employees. Seems like a lot.
And then workers' comp is down. That doesn't happen very often, does it?
Well, it's going up from this year.
Right.
Well, I just see that 24 budget versus 23 budget dollar change is down 10.
Yeah, that was an estimate based on a conversation with our broker. I
I see.
can check that again.
Now it's
Because all the insurance numbers are
Mm-hmm.
a bit in play.
We're actually going to spend 182, so our budget for the current year is just way more than we needed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess I'm confused on the math. We're asking for 200 and last year it was 182. I wonder why is it say under 24 versus 23 budget dollar change, drop of 10?
Because of the comparison to the 2023 budget, the 2023 budget was 210,000.
Yeah, okay, so then, wait, so then.
Two
is it
columns
going
further
down?
right is the increase over
Right,
the
just
actual spending.
Sometimes there's so many dials on this thing that I.
Yeah,
lose track of what I'm
it's
looking at.
going down versus last year's budget, but
Right.
it's going up versus our projected
Versus-
2023.
Okay.
Or expected action.
There are a lot of columns.
Yeah. We asked for them.
Thank you, Steve.
So then is that the same thing happening with professional services? Or a similar story where it's going down, but it's going up?
I believe this is a situation where that particular study is done every other year.
Got it. Anything else here under fringe benefits?
So we're gonna take a look at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What's that?
That's it. I've got it all there.
I did, so, Bill, the 85,706, that it went up since the original budget.
Which, I'm sorry.
Where
which
are we?
line?
I'm back, I'm sorry, I'm back on 697.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay, 697.
My eye keeps going to 6.
That's right, big number.
So for everybody who's following along, we're at the bottom of page 11. You said 697?
So it was, yeah, so it was 339. And it went up 85,000. I just want to recognize that's an increase since the presentation on March 2nd.
The 85,000, yes.
Yeah.
He
mentioned
that.
No.
Yes, yep.
I'm just anchoring on it. I'm trying to.
Yep, that once again, for those who hadn't heard this story, there was a 2% increase in the contribution that the town has to make to the pension plan. That's 2% of eligible salaries. Thanks for the nod, Earl. I appreciate that. And the effect is profound. Increasing, it is also sort of compounded in Thompson because we have more participants in the plan in 24 than we did previously.
Yeah.
So it's going up based on percentage of salary, but it's also you have a larger number of employees in the pool.
So just, yeah, and I didn't bring it up because it was a surprise. You were clear about that.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
just restating where we are. Is this the same population of people that are basically seeing a 3% increase in
Yes,
salaries?
yes.
So when we think about total compensation, because 3% you could argue is relatively low in the climate we're in, inflation is twice that. But going from 17.5% contribution in their retirement to 19.5%, that's a 12.5% increase
Right.
in their savings, allocations to their savings. The employee is net seeing somewhere around a 15% increase in their total comp. I get it's not in their paycheck, but
In the
it's
compensation.
in their retirement as well.
Mhm.
Is that, just verifying that I'm thinking about that?
Yeah.
But is that changing the benefits of the plan or just our funding of it?
The understanding that was passed along with the meeting with the state comptroller was that we're essentially, the increase was driven by making up for poor market performance in the last 2 years.
So they're not seeing a real increase in their comp. It's costing more, but their pension paid, they're not getting a pension that's higher than it would have been otherwise.
They're not getting a high, right, their
No, they're
pension
not
isn't
getting
going
it,
up.
right.
But
It's just being
for those of
recalculated.
us who have defined contribution plans, we are all experiencing the adverse impact of the market, whereas if you have a defined benefit and the municipality is increasing more, then it's insulating you from exposure to the adverse impact of the marketplace.
So just so I can follow this through, thank you for the clarification, Steve. So when the markets are overperforming, or in a bull market like there were until recently,
Last year.
does that contract back down?
The
I
actual.
mean, does it work both ways? Or how-
It does work both ways, although, as I think I repeatedly said, it certainly seems to come down slower than goes up. But yes, that's really what's driving it, is that if I remember right, Orla, you may recall the numbers, but I think they had a 7% market expectation, and they had something like a 9.8% loss last year. And so that's really what
That's what
drove this
drives it.
change.
Also, their balance, I think, is below expectation.
Sure.
So again, this doesn't drive the pension output later. There's really no benefit to the employees. Then I was wrong in the way.
No, you're
There's really no benefit.
it's correct.
Other than it preserves it, it's
Because
there.
the benefit is defined as a percentage of their salaries upon retirement.
Got it. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks.
But like I said, if you're in the private sector, then if your compensation goes up, say 3 or 4%, and you have a defined contribution, then you're experiencing a greater adverse exposure as a result of feeling the full drop, as opposed to somebody else insulating you from that.
Yeah, defined contribution versus defined benefit.
Anything else here under fringe benefits? So move on to municipal insurance.
Well, I think there was one action on fringe benefits.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
And that was on the FICA Medicare.
Yes, yeah, I'll be checking. I have that down.
Right,
That was Steve's point.
that was Steve's point. Yeah. The revisit on the.
I'm catching up.
You can take credit.
I'm catching up.
No, this is good. All right, so municipal insurance. And I'm sure there's a story here.
Again, based on input from HDC here, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
All right, anything else on the municipal insurance before we move on?
Out of curiosity, have we had any claims? This is like a property insurance, correct?
Property,
Yes.
yeah, no property unless usually anything that we've had in
been
recent
workers'
years
comp.
has been either workers' comp, a lot of the claims associated with the fire departments, property damage, vehicle accidents with the fire departments. Nothing within the.
Also, a lot of this, or at least some of it is for the vehicles in the fire departments. We're providing.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else for municipal insurance before we move on to other financing sources? Okay, capital expenditures. Looks like building improvements, no, yes, building improvements.
Correct.
Painting oh, I see.
If you recall, last year we had the locker room project.
Yeah.
This is a different painting project. This is actually the hallways at the high school and the lockers in the hallways.
That's right. Was it last year there were two proposed projects and we just said, let's do one now and do the other one? Yeah. And then transfer.
That is the capital requests in their entirety.
Then I have that, I'll switch over. I haven't sent this around to the group because I frankly didn't expect that we would get to this point tonight. But it is prepared and it's well done. Well done.
That's right.
The pension fund.
But here is the list of the transfers and the capital improvements proposed.
That's a change from original, is it? Or-
I think I rounded all
Okay,
these numbers.
okay, nice.
As long as Allison's here, could we talk about library maintenance? Do you know what that is, Allison? If you might, that's. okay.
No, that's fine.
No, I'm asking Aaron if it's okay.
Yeah, oh, sure. Everything's fair game here.
I'm sorry.
Sorry? Sure, no, I just gave some detail about, I don't know what aspects you'd like to hear. Would you like to hear about the ways that we've been spending the money this year? Would you like to hear?
Well, I guess I'm asking whether the project was in the library maintenance, $50,000.
Sure, so this is a transfer account, so there is a pot of money, small, that we do take on some larger projects with, so. Recently, we replaced, the original boiler to the facility, last month, and we're pending the installation of a new, sets of main entry doors. And so those two projects combine at about $50,000
That's for this year.
for this year. Currently, yes. So with that going forward, there will be additional projects that we would like to, or that need to be, taken care of. We have really dug into, updating the light fixtures to help with the energy costs. We've done the entire parking lot. There's 30 light poles. They're all now LED, and I'm very pleased to see the impact of the energy use lowering on our light bills the last 3 months. We started an interior project as well.
Excuse me, though, the light fixtures are in current year.
Yes,
All right.
correct.
All right.
I'm just, this is some of what we've done with the funds that are available to us and
Gotcha.
why the balance has lowered dramatically in the last 3 months. Because a new boiler, 2 new sets of main entry doors, and 2 light projects within the last few months. So the new interior light project is an extra savings. Not only will it lower the cost, energy costs, these new fixtures do not require light bulbs or ballasts. And to replace a ballast requires an electrician to come in, another savings. So there are, I think 116 of this one type of fixture that we are able to convert. So we have done, I think, 24 so far. So we're gonna keep chipping away at it.
and get as much LED or energy conservation that we can throughout the facility, which will be 30 years old next spring. And we are hopeful to update the phone system. We are hoping to tie into Frontiers fiber initiative that they'll hopefully be bringing to Thompson in the next few months. So that would help us replace some well-used equipment. And do you have any other, I can go on and on about our wonderful facility and the issues that it faces, but
Can I
hope I
point out one thing,
Please,
Allison,
please.
something during your presentation and the Board of Trustees presentation to the Board of Selectmen that stood out to me that I think is a priority over everything else that you
Oh.
just mentioned.
for sure.
And that is the replacement of 6,000-gallon underground oil tank. We know we've had the issue in the past of oil leaks in the ground. We don't want this to happen again. So I would urge the board to let this request go through specifically so that we can focus on that project. I mean, it's entirely up to the Board of Trustees, but I would implore the Library Board of Trustees to make that a priority.
It's on the list. There's a
Yeah.
capital
Well, first of all, I think-
I would be glad to forge the Board of Finance that went forward with our budget proposal.
And I can make copies tonight if anybody wants a copy.
Thank you, Amy.
This is actually not under the board of trustees, I don't think. This is part of the building.
True, you're right.
It's not, so minor.
You're right. You're right. Thank you for that correction.
Bill, do you have an amount that, or is there amount available presently in the library transfer?
I can get to
account?
that amount. There is, yes. I don't have the balance right now.
Thank you.
It used to be identified for the roof, if I remember right.
Correct.
Yes, but we have a
That
grant
was-
for the
that
roof
was-
now.
Well,
Right, although
that money
they
has to
can't.
go, that money has to go
That-
towards the roof first.
Most, if not all of that money.
But can you give us a breakdown then of that?
There are two lines.
Are there two lines?
There are
Okay,
two
good.
lines. There is a specific roof line,
I thought
and then
so.
there is the capital transfer. They are two separate parts of.
Thought so.
I wanted to just be clear that that entire roof fund is going towards the roof project first and foremost, based on the grant matching requirement.
That was really the other account.
Yeah,
that I'm
yeah.
concerned about.
So this, library maintenance at 50, is this typical? Do we usually do this? I know when we used to have the book with the spine on it, we would have like it would also give some indication of what these line items have done in previous years.
If
So
I
kinda knew what the-
recall,
the his-
this
the-
line used to be
backstory.
funded at $25,000 a year.
Mhm.
But that was stopped 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, at times it was, the decision was to pick between funding at the roof or funding for the general building.
Right.
And so it would alternate and yet put us in a great position to have that fund for the roof so we could move forward and receive that grant. So choices are playing in our favor. And yet that's why it hasn't been a current, a steady trend of funding. There's been some variables that
And
is.
I think last year, if I recall correctly, the Board of Selectmen had taken the request out because there was a decent amount of money left that hadn't been used for any of the projects that year. So that was a decision that the Board of Selectmen made last year. So,
Maybe I missed this. Does that mean that there's no request for library roof in this budget? It's
That's
just,
there
correct.
doesn't need to
Good,
be,
We
it's
don't
just-
need-
that's for the other projects.
it's just for these things listed here,
All
oil
the
tank, carpet replacement, HVAC, et cetera.
And Allison, interior light fixtures were continuing into 24, if I remember right.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Again, 116 fixtures. Need to be converted.
Are they a buck each?
Yes, yes, no, about 50.
Inflation.
So-
On the,
Go ahead.
on the oil tank.
Yeah.
How old is the tank? And
93?
The original.
so it's 30 years old. And-
93?
and do we have quotes? How much of this 50 is gonna be chewed up on the oil tank, if that's a have to?
I don't know at this
The
time.
research.
It depends if it's leaking or not when they dig it out.
That's a whole, 50,000 is even gonna be enough to tell you the problem, if it's leaking. I'm gonna get out of the ground before it leaks.
I can't believe that a facility constructed in 1993, that they allowed you to put an oil tank
must have
underground
been
with
one of the
everything
last
that
ones.
we found out. I mean, 60s, 70s, sure, but 93, good grief, I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
Kara raised her hand. I don't know if she has something to share about that. Our Director of Planning and Development.
Go ahead, Tara.
Yeah, and just because you're talking about the roof, which was a steep grant, the reason you were able to pursue that, as Allison has stated, is that you had those match funds available. That's probably the exact kind of program you'd look at going forward. And they do prioritize projects that show a minimum 20% match. So the fact that they were banking $25,000 a year for a period of years, we actually hit the sweet spot. So it's worth finding an estimate and then I would say adjusting this amount accordingly, because that program comes up every year or two.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Perry? Well, this came up in my first cycle and I asked the question. It was presented as a very forward-looking, responsible way to prepare for the future. No argument there. Made a lot of sense. But 25,000 a year, and when you need the roof, you have the money. The challenge came in that why do it for this one building in town, but not do it for all the other buildings in town? And when you look at doing it for all the buildings in town, it gets to be a little bit unaffordable. We've got current people now paying for the roof of the future while they're enjoying the roof of today. So having said all that, the question, Tara, that I'm leading up to is if we were to need these kind of matching funds to get these 80% type grants, can we put it in a general roof fund? So we don't need to have a roof fund for every roof, but a general roof fund, and then as they get to a need basis, we can draw on that potentially in the future.
I mean, from my perspective, yeah, theoretically, you could do something like that. I mean, that's really a better question for the building committee and Board of Selectmen in actually, deciding on it and authorizing it. But I certainly argued for something along those lines myself when I led the update of the plan of conservation and development. Looking forward, having that list of projects and that list of estimates, as opposed to spitballing it, will get you to where you want to go more efficiently. I mean, that's the real point. I think it's the point you're trying to make.
And I do try to act proactively at the facility and keep it in presentable shape, and yet emergencies do happen. So while these projects I mentioned are goals that I and the library board have to move forward on, everything is aging and all of the costs are rising. There are 19 heat pump units throughout the facility. The other boiler we have is new with a 2012 installation date. We are fortunate to have a new cooling tower now, and yet those heat pump units, we've replaced 3 of the 19, and 2 of them that we have new the vast majority of the library space and will be quite expensive to replace. And yet, if it were to go down, it would need to be handled in a timely fashion. As that facility is a heating and cooling designated location for the community. So while I appreciate everybody doing their best to work forward with improvements for the community, just having this fund available for emergencies that I can take to the board or the Board of Selectmen to move on, brings some sort of peace of mind to keep the operational for. Because we had to use them this year. We have had to, yeah, it's been some good things too, yes.
Well, for example, we have the garage roof, to your point, we have a garage roof that's coming up.
I have some questions on that one.
Wouldn't it? I mean, sort of the same idea. There's gonna be a roof in the town hall and so on down the road.
That's right.
But at least start a fund that if we need it to get these grants. Probably up to us more than just the other boards.
Well, that was the question. I don't understand the mechanics of the grants. If it has to be designated to that building, or could we have a general roof fund and then have a force rank priority? And then as they come up, then become
Makes sense.
available, we can match them up.
Should have the same thing for highway department too.
You get them all.
That's significant if it's an 80% grant.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah, we want that.
Big help.
Amy, were you saying 100 isn't gonna cover the town garage roof anyway?
Potentially not, I mean, the
Right.
entire roof, so there's multiple leaks, a lot of the insulation, there's concern that there might be mold. So it'll probably need to be engineered. Completely replaced, inside and out.
So then on the topic of this, create a roof fund and then get grants
Mhm.
idea,
Right,
is this town garage roof grantable? Is this
Yeah,
something we could do?
right,
Yeah.
we just had no money to put towards it and had to make.
I was gonna ask about the 100 and what that was intended for, because when I think about roofs and cost of roofs, and I look at the town garage, it's not enough.
Not enough,
I,
it was
I'm
really.
not an
just a
expert, but I
start-
don't even think it's close. I mean,
To us, it was just a starting point.
Wasn't meant to be.
For now, we could probably do some repairs to it, was the thought, just to stop some of the leaks. With the intention of making a focus of it becoming a bigger project and hopefully another grant, like the steep grant coming along that we could utilize.
I guess here then I'd recommend we maybe establish a kind of an overall roof fund
Fun.
and call it that, if words matter, call it that versus town garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to plug up holes, you gotta patch it to get to a better day. But
Mhm.
it seems like that would be a wise move to, classify it.
As a roof fund.
I think so.
So then it's funds available for patches and repair work, as well as matching funds for grants that might be out there that require matching funds.
Mhm.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Extend the life of it for now, stop the leaks.
Right.
So that we can get to an eventual grant. For sure.
If we might, could we talk about revaluation? I know we covered it before, but
Sure.
would you mind?
I was just double checking with Paul in a text, but he didn't get back to me. So in my understanding, revaluation, he's doing a lot of the work in-house. We're
Right.
no longer gonna contract out with NECOG. We determined that it would save us approximately $75,000 to $100,000.
Okay.
And I believe it's October 2024 for the July 1, 2025 tax bills. So I did not get confirmation, but I did send him a quick text to make sure. So I think we have 2 more installments that will cover the cost, because he does still have to go out. He does need a separate company that comes in, but they're not going to be doing the legwork. Paul is currently doing the legwork now. So every time there's an addition to somebody's home, or a bathroom gets added, he actually goes to the property, he makes adjustments to the property card. So he's been doing all of the legwork in the last couple of years since he's been with the town, so that he just needs to get the reval company, and I can't answer exactly what they do, but it's a minimal amount of work.
I don't remember the exact amount, but I thought it was in the $25,000 range that we were setting aside every year.
That's right.
Something
I'm
like
looking
that.
at an old budget and it was $25,000 a year.
So is this sort of one, I'm not sure I understand where the savings. Help me understand.
We were doing it
4 or
for
5.
What year was it? 25? Was it more than, I'm gonna, thankfully.
So
it was in the
yes,
the end.
FY
But
minus.
I think it was 50 before.
Yeah, so it used to be over the 5 years, we would accrue to build up to approximately $150,000.
Yeah.
So it was approximately $30,000 each year.
Okay,
When we started with this current assessor, Paul suggested that we would do it over 4 years.
25
And I'm
each
thinking we were talking about 25 a year.
right.
So by the time
Repair.
our 5 years came around, we were at $100,000.
Roof.
Right.
That's
It's
my
moving.
recommendation.
So maybe it was only
It's
50
very
that was
roof.
savings.
It's 25,
Yeah, 50.
Okay,
I think it was closer to 50.
right.
30.
At least that was.
30 and
the-
4.
We were
I can
putting,
get
aside-
the concrete answer.
we were putting, so I'm sorry, we were putting aside 30, roughly 25, 30 in the past every year. Now we're gonna do 25.
But it was only, we were doing 4 installments as opposed to 5.
It'd be a 1 year.
But it's only, but we're doing the reassessment, revaluation every 4 years.
So every 5.
Right.
Still gonna do it every 5. So we'll skip 1 year with minimal savings. Not that I'm not for savings, don't get me wrong, but not
No,
sure.
it was up to 50,000.
Okay, all right.
But did you say that there was savings as a result of what, not doing this with, through NECOG?
Correct.
So, but we're still doing 25?
That's.
Meaning we're still gonna be doing 25 per year?
Because he's still gonna have to go out to get a reval company to certify the grand list,
Can I jump in?
Go ahead.
From what I'm hearing in my recollection, it is 25 a year, it's $100,000.
Right.
We had to do it over a 4-year period to get out in front of it.
Yes.
So once we get through this cycle, we could probably drop it down to 20 over the 5-year period. It was really more of a timing thing.
Yeah.
It's just- It was a catch-up timing thing, and then with the savings, it looks like you're not really saving, but it's a 4-year cycle to get to that money. Then from here forward, we'll have, in the year that they're doing the reval, we'll actually set aside, call it 20,000 and do that over a 5-year horizon.
So that means we're gonna do 25 in this budget and 25 in the next budget?
I don't think the next budget will need it.
Got it. So then the next budget we'll do 20?
So we have a balance.
Right.
Well, you won't need it.
Or you're thinking-
You won't need it. Next cycle, you won't need it
You
for
want
this
to-
one, but now you, 5 years from now, you gotta do it again. So you
Sure.
need something to start building for the next one.
So then we would, that's what I'm just wondering.
Not if we're doing it internally, we're only building to certify the
Right.
internal assessment.
That's correct.
So you're not gonna need 100,000.
Well,
But I
I'm
mean-
hearing we do need 100,000.
I'm hearing we do.
Am I,
I think
Miss-
he's gonna have to go out to bid, and I
Got
think
it.
it's
So we
the
don't know.
uncertainty based on the number of
units?
parcels. As far as how much that. will
Okay,
come
So
in
that's a
at.
question that will be
So-
answered at some point in the not too distant future.
Yes, yeah.
Got it.
I think we'll
Mhm.
know more after he goes through this first round here in Thompson. This will be his first revaluation in Thompson. So,
But it seems reasonably safe to assume that we probably won't be going higher than $25,000 in the future.
Mm.
correct, I would say
Probably
no.
not, probably not,
Correct,
and possibly lower
possibly lower.
Not zero.
and not zero.
Yes.
Just a technicality, we were talking about the town garage roof. Should we change the name of that to municipal roof fund? Should we change the name of
I
that?
think we should.
Or building fund or something.
Municipal roof fund?
Maybe
I
you
think
fix
you
a
need the
wall or
roof.
something.
Well,
You need a
you
roof.
want the roof if you want
Okay.
the roof. Grants.
Oh,
Like
okay.
grant
Yeah,
expert.
I leave it as roof, roof.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Rook. Got it. I'm gonna put chess. Was this the Little League amount for the, oh, I'm sorry. I was going to change the subject.
Yeah, no, following up on that, so. Bill, it might be worth having the building committee or somebody put together a schedule. Schedules can change, it's not cast in stone. But kind of a look at what are the next roofs coming up,
Sure.
so that if indeed we have an opportunity, we can show, you know,
Mhm.
here's the funds we put aside and here's our sequence of what we're doing. That could shift based on, you know, windstorms and roofs changing, but I think it would be worth having that as part of the plan, right?
Hopefully we
Actually,
haven't
I-
insured.
I was gonna skip a line if everybody's okay with it. I was gonna say, and not to put you on the spot, Dave, but a couple of meetings ago, you had talked about
Yes,
doing 5-year lease to own options on
Yep.
certain things, and I was gonna say, can we have a conversation on the paving? No, the 9-ton truck and the loader. And I'm assuming those are just the full out acquisition cost.
Correct.
And what would it look like if we were to consider what Dave was talking about a couple of meetings ago about lease to own options and things like that?
I think you gave me the numbers.
I did.
We still haven't.
Something like 53,000 a year for the 9-ton. 43,000, I believe, on loader. I don't know, it's not the exact number, but that's what it was.
On the 9-ton for a 7-year term, 43,953 for a 5-year term, 58,488. On the loader, 7-year term, 39,608. And on a 5-year term, 52,670.
Yeah, I think in the original motion, I chose the 5-year because I
5-year.
had those numbers from. But that's if we go to a lease purchase agreement, the loader and the truck would be ordered after July 1, which pushes the lease payment to the next fiscal year.
FY 24.
Not
FY
this-
25,
not the-
FY
yeah,
25,
25.
FY 25.
So in a sense, you are saving the total amount
I see.
in this year's
At least in
budget,
this budget.
in this budget.
You're not
And then
saving.
the following.
Postponing it.
You're-
I
yes,
am,
you're
you're
delaying.
postponing the costs.
Yeah.
I agree. I can make that motion if you want.
No, do you mind if I'd like to do a little homework and present something next time, so try to discuss this issue, of whether we finance or not. Doing
Well,
a finance,
you're
a
not-
5-year lease would add
You're not gonna take it out of,
$51,000 to the cost, 20% more. It's like paying $292,000 for that.
I understand completely,
I understand, and that's what financing
but
is.
there's no way of doing it other than that.
That would beg to differ, but
Bill, did you say that, did I hear you say that 7 years is for like what, the loader? There's a 7-year
He
option or
had,
something?
he had
Is
it
that-
on both, he had
Yeah.
a 7-year option on both, which is more expensive.
Well, right, but that must be because diesel powered and they last a long time and X thousands of hours and X
I mean, I
thousands,
think if you
hundreds of
just,
thousands
if
of
you look at our
miles.
current loader and current 9-ton trucks, some of them are 30 years old.
Yeah.
Wow,
Granted, Joe's worked his magic to keep them running, but.
yes. But it's safe to say that owning it for 10 years is not unreasonable. and
No,
Owning it for
not
more
at
than 10
all.
years is not unreasonable.
With good maintenance, you should get at least 20 years out of it.
So that's 9-ton truck and loader. Paving is pretty standard, right? That's just to cover X number of miles per year.
Well,
I have a detailed list of.
I know you, with regard to paving, you would have currently a transfer fund of approximately $1,400,000 in it. That's why in my original motion, I suggested cutting somewhat in the neighborhood of 238,000, leaving us with a balance in that fund of 1,740,000, rounding it off for the coming year for paving.
How much was in that fund already?
1,400,000. Based on what exists and what will be coming in this current year.
Because so Dave is including a reduced contribution here. Plus the LoCIP and other items that we get from the state that go into the paving fund. The reason it's higher than some might expect is because with the absence of a DPW director this past year, there wasn't a lot of paving done. So last year's allocation went at least partially unspent.
Does that go back into the general fund?
No,
it
it's a
stays in the
transfer.
paving fund.
Stays in
That's
the
why
transfer.
why the business is,
I
why
got
the
it, got
fund
it.
is
That's
built
why,
up.
that's why the transfer account has grown.
Exactly.
Correct.
Go ahead.
I had a question on this, and that is, parking the dollars aside, just looking at it from a practical standpoint, there's a saturation point in which you can only do so much.
Right.
So what is that number? What does that equate to in numbers? Because we could fund it and it could spill over into the next year, or we could look to make sure that we at least maximize the available capacity that we have for repaving.
So I don't know if this will answer your question completely, and I'm sorry Joe's not here. I wasn't quite sure we'd get to this part of the budget.
You can have them next time. Go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah. We are contracting out. We're outsourcing some of the roads, some of the services on the road, some of the maintenance. We're doing some of the work in-house, so I understand. It could be, and I hope this is where you're going with it. It could be a really rainy season that could hamper construction completely. I'm not totally against Mr. Johnson's cuts. I think they might be a little too drastic because I don't think we want to make it so close that we can't pay those outside contractors that are going. I think there is room.
That's kind of where my question was going. So if in the best of worlds, the most we could spend is 1.2, or we have 1.4. If the most we can spend is 1.6 and we need 200. Adding more from
Yeah,
subsequent use is another discussion. I'm just trying to frame what that looks like.
I just wouldn't want to come up short when we are relying on some outside vendors to do a lot of the work. Fabian Road entirely will be an outside contractor with us as a support system.
That expands your capacity because you're not doing it all by
Right.
yourself.
Mhm.
They've
That's-
already
that's
started-
subsequent, prior years have been the same.
Right, and our crews started doing some of the work on the catch basins on Fabian Road in preparation, so it really is a project we want to move forward with.
Okay,
I hope that answers your question.
kind of. I think you don't have the final numbers to know for
No.
sure yet.
And so did we say the fund that has 1.4 in it now?
It will have 1.4 in it.
As of
With,
June 30th. There
Oh.
are state funds still coming in.
Got it. So it'll have 1.4 by June 30th. And that's unrelated to the request. And
Yes,
so then, Amy, you were saying you just don't want to come up short. So, and I guess what we're saying was you're not quite sure, but if I
No,
would,
I-
if I would ask you to ballpark, what not coming up short would look like, what does that look like?
I will basically off the top of my head, based on the projects and trying to remember exactly what the quotes were from some of the outsourced company, I think that we're looking at about 1.5, 1.6 million.
And we can have the Director of Public Works speak to that at the next meeting to either confirm or deny or
Mhm.
clarify.
Yeah.
Which at least would help to inform what we think about this number here. Okay,
Could we add also that you look at what we typically would want going into the next year?
Right. Yeah, because
Just so that we're
Yeah.
not draining the coffers to zero.
that's
We
right.
normally want 100, 300, 500.
That's right.
the way it, if what you're saying is correct, we'll find out from Joe, but it'll be somewhere. With my proposal, it'll be somewhere around $250,000 left.
Start building for the next cycle, because if I also recall,
Mhm.
you had to reach a minimum to make it worth
Yes,
even getting the projects going.
That's
Right.
right.
Right, you couldn't say, well, we all have 600, let's do what we can with 600. Because you're gonna get $300,000 worth of roads at 600. Gotta get to that optimum
That's it.
point, okay.
Right.
I'm good with revisiting this if
Me too.
everyone else is.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
Like to revisit.
So, go ahead.
No.
Well, I was gonna say, it's the town hall parking lot. Is that paving too? Is that?
Mhm.
is it- I mean, as long as we're talking about paving or is
And
is
that
that another,
was-
is that another angle of this whole paving discussion?
it is, I just thought it should be separate from Public Works
Got
and
it.
Roads. And that is also a quote from an outside vendor.
So if you were gonna talk about something different, go ahead. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, I was gonna take us back to the 9-ton truck and the loader.
That's okay. Let's
Okay.
go back to
The
that.
question on that was, and I was looking for the debt service, the amount of debt service that we're retiring, you have that in dollars? That's what you're gonna do?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, no.
Right, as opposed to.
do we have any
operating expense,
leases
what's
coming
the-
due? I think is what Rob is asking.
I would rather revisit that, Rob, rather than trying to cobble it right now.
There is one. I feel like it's the
Yeah, we will
Q1.
pay it.
fund. I think the Q1 funds are coming out.
I remember it being down and I couldn't get the number, so
Yeah.
we can revisit that, just from my kind of a run rate perspective.
That would be in the town report usually.
But that was something that was good about these books.
Yeah,
is
it had it, but
it
it's
had
in the
that
town
info in
report
there.
too, when they get.
Okay.
Not any big sheets, but,
That's still the outstanding payments.
So that's a
Yeah, that's
question
the
that's to
current
be answered.
Do
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
To be
next
answered.
week.
Yeah, and then I had one other question, if I could.
Go right ahead.
I think I understand the story behind the 9-ton trucks and the fact that we have some that are from the late 80s and, you've been trying to upgrade the fleet. And rightfully so, and we bought another one recently, maybe 2 years ago.
That's right.
But can you talk to us a little bit about the loader?
Mhm.
Where do we stand in the lifespan of loaders?
Well,
How many
oh,
we
gosh.
need, how old they are?
Right.
I'm just trying to get a feel for,
I
I think
believe,
the fire truck. Feels like we need another fire truck. Plow truck. The loader.
Don't worry, we'll need a truck.
State 56.
the loader is currently, there are currently 2 loaders. One stays at the garage, is used for various things around the garage. This one that we're discussing today is at the transfer station, is used actively pretty much every single day that transfer station is open.
Is that the one that's to be replaced? The one?
Yes, it's a
that-
Volvo.
That
I'm
big,
thinking
massive
circa
loader.
1989, maybe.
Yeah,
It's difficult to get the parts.
right.
The
That's a
Volvos,
mess,
yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And those are the ones that if you take good care of them, they last like what, 10, 12,000 hours?
This one's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Right.
If I remember right, Joe's plan was to move the loader that's at the garage to the transfer station
Right,
and put the new one at the garage.
Because.
Oh, I see.
Now,
because it's at the transfer station.
I see.
It
It gets beat up.
gets beat up a lot more than they beat up the vehicles at the
So
transfer
take,
station.
take that sort of use, want to move it out. to the
does this
transfer.
loader have a backhoe attached to it, or is it just a loader?
It would just be a loader, I believe.
Big, well, it's like an articulating loader. Not a backhoe loader, it's the one at the garage, I mean, at the transfer station.
Mm.
And what do we do at the loader that's at the transfer station?
Yeah, right.
He grabs a big weight, I've seen it before.
No,
puts it in
I
the
know.
loader.
I know.
I know.
That's what are we gonna do with the asset?
Oh, what are you gonna
Any-
do with
any
the asset?
scrap
I'm sorry, I
residual?
was like,
We're gonna trade it
Yeah.
Is there any, is there any residual scrap value to that? I mean, if the diesel engine still works,
Be some value.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Another
question for Joe.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
would be a question for Joe.
Yeah, if it's.
I think
If it's
maybe
near scrap
auction-
value, that's different, but if it's still got 30, 40, 50,000 dollars worth of value, I think we should. Actually be part of this discussion.
I agree. So then back to town hall parking lot. So that's an outside quote,
Yes,
and that's what you got is 73.
Is that both sides?
yes.
Are in terms of our own paving capacity, are we in the, do we have in-house ability to pave a parking lot?
We did, but because of the corners and the curves, Joe thought that it wasn't a project that he wanted to take on. He wanted the parking lot to be done to a certain perfection.
ADA.
Oh, and
ADA
ADA compliance.
compliance.
Well, that as well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I move to another?
Yeah.
item? Little League field?
Yeah.
I think Walter's here for that.
Yep.
We have a couple.
Oh, well, all right, and
So I actually don't have a question, I just a comment that, I really appreciate the write-ups, the explanation, the forward-looking view that you're not just looking at right now today, you gave some perspective on the historical. Allison does a similar thing with the library every year, and I think it actually leads to less questions, and we get a better kind of feel for what the need is. And I know it's a lot of homework for you guys to do, but and I think it's very, very helpful. So just a comment and a thank you on that front. I didn't have any questions because it was.
Any questions on Little League, as long as we're here?
12,000 was the requirement for the first year. Is that the right number? Is guess that's my only question. I think it was, but just think I rounded up. Okay. Just want to make sure it wasn't supposed to be 25.
So that means
5.
You usually do that with the Little League.
Because the Little League presentation is 19,530, so that means this is what, just the first installment? Is that what it is?
19,530 is what we're spending this year.
Oh,
Funds it.
and so you're asking for 12 to help.
Well,
Oh, commission.
to continue improving next year.
They'll spend the 19, they'll spend 12.
Another 12 next year in 24.
So I can add on what Josh is saying. We currently have 17 in the transfer fund. So the first project that we're looking to spend is the 19,000 and change. And we're going to use the balance of what's left in the transfer fund at 17,000. Potentially any more, any offers that you guys think could be included in that problem.
All right, so a couple dumb questions, sorry. You said you've got 17,000 currently in a transfer fund?
Yes,
Is it a municipal transfer fund?
it's in the.
Or it's your transfer fund?
No,
No,
in
it's
your-
ours.
Oh,
Our transfer fund.
Past
So
Little
there's
League
17,
money.
that we've already got into a fund now, and you're gonna spend 19,530. What, this spring, this summer?
Between spring and summer.
And so what is, does that deplete the 17 that's in our transfer fund right now?
Correct.
And so then what, the 2,530 is money that you guys are gonna find somewhere else?
No, we're hoping to
Give you
take it out.
something to look at.
Oh, I see, okay, got it.
Right, Chuck?
Bill Stiles did these jobs.
And so once these expenditures are
That's all it is,
completed,
is
does
that.
that mean that the fields will be in a condition where you're looking for them to be, or is this just like a phase one or something like that?
That will bring the 3 fields to that, to the condition we want them.
If we got it.
The two Little League fields and the Senior League field, right?
Two little fields and the
The T-ball field.
It's the senior league field, if you really want, it's.
It's-
That's for future year. Right.
Front page.
So meaning 17,000 plus 12
Not here, but
is
the small one we gave you.
where you need to be.
It's show the total
But
tax.
the 19
It's
is
not
where the
total
folks
cost.
get it, so does that mean that at least what you're hoping is to have some held over in that transfer fund, so the next time we come around to something like this, we can say, like what you're saying, yeah, the 17 we transfer fund, we're looking for some money, we're gonna spend it, and then we come up with for future.
For the future. Okay.
Can you tell me what the participation is? How many play, used to play, now play?
I think it's 120.
Yeah, our numbers are climbing weekly.
Okay.
We're almost back to pre-COVID numbers.
Great.
But which is how much?
This looks, well, Bill might be able to confirm the specifics, but I think 8-10 years ago, we were at about 150.
Yeah. Maybe just a little bit higher, but yeah.
Yeah, and we were going down,
Yes.
pre-COVID, we were probably at about 125, 130.
Pre-COVID, like 2019.
Yes,
Okay.
2018, 2019.
Okay.
And then, we didn't have a season in 2020.
Right.
Yeah, we're still,
So 130 range
yes,
is,
exactly. We have, currently, we have 13 teams ready to play this spring. And I think one of the big things that for us is, we have so much, we have a great board, a great, individuals help us out. But we have softball. First time in many years.
It's been a long time.
Which is really great.
So I'm assuming those 13 teams span the age ranges from T-ball up to Little League?
Yeah,
Meaning-
major leagues.
Yeah, meaning you've got, 3 or 4 teams at each age range, and that's where you get. 13.
A lot of younger, actually.
Okay, well, that's fine.
So most of like 5 teams in T-ball and then working your way up, then we go down to like 1 team in minors, but then we have 2 in majors, so. It seems like the younger kid number is climbing.
What you want, you get the flow through.
Exactly.
Right, that's where the future is. So we can either talk about MS4 retrofit, or we can adjourn and pick it up.
I just have a comment.
Go ahead.
Bill, when you redo your sheets for next week, could you itemize your transfer on these sheets?
Sure. Add sublines to the transfer. Yep.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I had one more quick one before we adjourn at 9:05. I'm back on the loader.
Yep. Man,
Sorry.
man.
You want to
this is-
understand how it works.
Yeah.
Want to drive one?
No, I didn't want to.
Amy,
The transfer
I
station.
just want to put a bid in for it.
Could we please, I think this will help inform us a little better. Could you ask Joe to also roll up the maintenance cost
Oh, sure.
on the loader at the transfer station for this year and last year, so we can get a feel for what that impact
good
might be.
advantage,
Yes.
Try to assess whether that's even something we should consider kicking to another year or not, and some of those pieces will help inform us, I think, if that's a wise thing to do or not.
Yeah.
Could you look at
Yeah.
that? Thank you.
Yeah, Joe, Bill's making all the notes for me.
if we're talking about other notes, did we get a list of the police incident reports over the years? We have that?
Oh, I thought I shared that with everybody.
I don't know.
Oh, over the years?
Yeah, we're gonna
Oh,
take a look
okay.
at, what's happened
I'll
over
check
time.
back with Lieutenant Cody.
You shared.
No, yeah, the
I
reports that-
shared some stuff.
Mm.
It was one
Compared
year.
to one other town.
Yeah, I'll
Sorry.
see.
Sorry, Steve.
I wonder if we could take a look at what's happened in Thompson.
I will
I'd like
see
to do
when
it
we
over
get back.
5 years or,
I don't know.
20
how far,
years, but
I
at
think
least 5.
07 is when we got rid of the resident state trooper.
We want to go back.
Sure,
that
I don't
far?
know if it's eccentric to
No.
ask for from
I'm not sure you
from
can.
2005, just to see
Sure,
what the
so you
trend
got the.
was. So you know what happened, so you know what happened in 05 and 06, and then you can see what happened after there's no resident state trooper. I know that's an eccentric request, but I just, for trending purposes, you may get laughed at by the state trooper's office, but
He was very helpful on the phone, so
okay.
I'm happy to call him. Yeah.
I guess if the question was put in those terms to say, we seem to recall that 07 was when we stepped away from this. So the question is, what happened the last couple of years before that? And then can we see what the trend happened?
We get the town gets a report every month of what's happened in the town, incidents, different types of incidents. And if we could just get those for all those years,
Do they
It
have,
would help us.
do they have an annual summary?
No, I don't remember seeing that. They had a monthly one even
We
didn't.
would have to
even-
break this
had
down
no record.
one month. at a
We'd have to
time.
go back.
That's
And
painstaking.
if they had it, I think right now you said it's not filed that way.
They're not
Filed
filed,
by-
they're filed by Board of Selectmen.
Board of Selectmen minutes,
And
so-
sometimes it's the first Tuesday, sometimes it's the third Tuesday that it gets put in the file, so it would be.
But maybe trustee has it already.
I'd be happy to-
organized.
Well, that's it, because I'm
And I'll
thinking,
help you if you need physical labor to do it.
if I was gonna run a state police, I know that I would have an annual recording of what happened in various locations. So there's gotta be somewhere in Hartford, there's gotta be a mainframe that has information that goes, annual summary, there's gotta be. An
I
annual
would be
summary
surprised
of-
if there were.
But what we used to do is like, how many traffic incidents, how many assaults, how many, all sorts, we're, I don't know, 20.
Yeah, they track a few, but not all of the incidents.
Oh, no, we used to, for the town, we would get from the town.
I wonder when you read the news about this kind of crime and that kind of crime, it's all coming from somewhere. It's being aggregated by data.
Give you the data, it's went up 38%.
It's coming from somewhere. Does somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So move.
So Dave's got the motion. Steve's got the second. All in favor of
We do
adjourning?
agree.
All in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone oppose? Anyone abstain? This one carries 5-0. It's 9:08 PM and we'll see everyone next week.
I gave you a copy of this.
Yeah.